It is true that monuments are the powerful testaments of human ingenuity, imagination, and creativity. In today's video, we shall explore this prehistoric monument called the Stonehenge. It is perhaps the world's most famous prehistoric monument. It was built in several stages. The first monument was built about 5,000 years ago, and the unique stone circle was built in Neolithic period about 2500 BC. In the early Bronze Age, many burial mounds were built nearby. The earliest known structure in the stone area are 4 or 5 pits, these of which appear to have held large pine erected in the Mesolithic period. Between 85,000 and 7,000 BC, it is possible that heel stone and low mound, known as the North Barrow, were early components of Stonehenge, but the major earliest event was the construction of a circular ditch with inner and outer bank that was built about 3000 BC. This encloses the area about 100 meters and had 2 entrances. Stonehenge has been the victim of speculations throughout the history, but the idea of meaning and significance of the structure continued to develop in 21st century. For centuries, historians and archaeologists got confused over the many mysteries surrounding Stonehenge. This is the old Neolithic monument that took 1500 years for its construction. This monument stands in the southern England and comprises roughly 100 massive upright stones that were placed in circular bay. Now this is the UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1986. English antiquarian John Aubrey and William Stuckley believed the structure to be a Druid temple, but the idea got rejected by research recently made. In 1963, an American astronomer, Gerald Hawkins, proposed it to be an ancient computer to predict solar and lunar eclipses, but all of these speculations have been rejected by the researchers later on. In 2008, British archaeologists named Tim Darville and Geoffrey Wainwright suggest that Stonehenge was used as the place of healing and peace on the basis of the skeleton that was found 3 miles from Stonehenge. This skeleton showed injury on the knee. However, after analysis, it got clear that this place did not mean to be a place for healing, but one of the often visited sites. Archaeologists believe that this massive structure was not built in its entirety in a single period of time. Rather, these are 3 stages of its construction. In first phase, that began 5,000 years ago, when the first Neolithic Britons dug the massive holes and put these stones in them. They probably used deer antlers to dig these massive circles. These pits belong to the much earlier period and were found by John Aubrey in 17th century. Now these holes are called Aubrey holes. Several hundred years later, it was speculated that people decided to expand the sphere of Stonehenge, and they introduced many blue stones. Those were non-indigenous. 43 of them are even survive today. During the third phase of its construction, that goes about 2000 BC, Sarsen sandstone slabs were put in a ring, and some of them were assembled in the iconic 3-piece structure known as trilithons that stands tall in the center of the Stonehenge, but radiocarbon dating suggests the site remained under construction till 1600 BC, where the blue sandstones have been repositioned many times. Stonehenge stone, of which the largest stone weighs 40 tons and rises 24 feet high, were brought from Salisbury Plain, that is 25 miles north to Stonehenge. These stones have been deported here with the help of sledges and ropes, while the smallest blue stone have been traced in the Preseli Hills in Wales, some 200 miles from the Stonehenge. As early as 1970s, the geologists raised their voice over the matter of the construction of Stonehenge. They rejected the theory of Neolithic builders of pushing, crafting, rolling. They are of the view that glaciers, not humans, did most of the heavy lifting, as they believe that this world is dotted with giant rocks that were carried over long distances by moving ice flood. Perhaps these slabs of Stonehenge were carried from Preseli Hills by glaciers during the Ice Age, according to Geoffrey of Monmouth. Stonehenge is the handwork of Wizard Merlin. The story goes the way that in 5th century, hundreds of British nobles were slaughtered by the Saxons and buried in Salisbury Plain. King Aurelius wanted to construct a memorial of these people, so he sent his army to Ireland to bring back a stone circle that was known as the Giant's Ring, which the ancient giants built from magical African blue stones. The army successfully defeated the Irish army but could not move those stones. Then Merlin used his magical power and brought those stones in Salisbury Plain and arranged them above the mass grave. People believed this story until in 17th century an archaeologist named John Aubrey claimed that Stonehenge was the work of Celtic high priests known as the Druids, but this theory got muffled by radiocarbon dating that established that Stonehenge was alive 1,000 years before the Celts inhabited the region and shed off. This theory strong evidence that Stonehenge was used as the burial site, but most scholars believe that it was a religious site and the final resting place for the royalties. But the most dominating theory suggests that this is based on modern research, that this site was based on a solar year of 365 days to help people to keep the track of months, weeks, and days. Finally, this mystery has been solved by the researchers who say that it is the giant solar calendar that may link Britain to Egypt. At that time, the week contained 10 days, and there were more months that are experienced by us today. Professor Timothy Darwell says that such a solar calendar was developed in the eastern Mediterranean in the centuries after 3000 BC and was adopted by Egypt as the civil calendar around 2700 BC and was widely used at the beginning of the Old Kingdom about 2600 BC. Professor Darwell says that the Stonehenge is aligned in the direction of the sunrise, and that strengthens the view of these researchers that this is a solar calendar that is used for calculating the days, weeks, and the months.